Welcome to the Back to Life podcast, where we explore living well, loving well, and being well. I'm your host, Nicole, and I invite you to tune in for inspirational conversations to get you back to life. Let's get started. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Back to Life podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Green, and I am so thrilled to have you join us again for our conversation on friendship or friendshipping. If you're new here, this podcast is all about living well, loving well, and being well to nurture our mental health and getting back to living. And of course, I am here with my co-host, Kelly.
Hey. Hey, Nicole. Hey, everyone. I'm so excited to be back for yet another episode. Today's topic is special because we're talking about that's what friends are for. And I can't wait to get into it.
Remember that song?
Yeah, we were singing
it. Okay. Anyway, so today's episode is going to be all about exploring the magic of unlikely friendships, the importance of friendship forgiveness. See, there's the
F word.
F word.
See, you brought it in. We were at 4 letters. Now
I know,
the
there
F
you
word.
go. And
we're going to get edited real fast.
And how to bring joy to our friendship connections. Are you ready to start?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it to it.
All right. First up, unlikely friendships. Okay. I got a question for you, Kelly.
Okay, yeah.
Have you ever formed a friendship with someone you totally did not expect to connect with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, some of my closest friends most likely are people that I never thought that I would have such a close relationship with.
Okay.
I can even say, like, when I first met my husband, I didn't think, like, when I first met him, that's
at
it.
First glance.
This is it.
Yeah.
The differences in upbringing, personalities, everything else, we were different. And so now I love him. I mean, married for over a decade.
I mean, yeah, it's solid right now. So
it's solid. But some of the best and I think healthiest relationships I have ever had, friendships especially, have been people that I didn't think I would. But I think that's also because of the way that I was raised. Was always like, you have to be open-minded and open to other people's stories and hearing them.
Okay. Yeah.
In kind of having that open-mindedness going into relationships and friendships as well.
Okay.
Compared to, this is your bubble, stay in your bubble.
Yeah.
It's the bubbles are jacked and you shouldn't have one.
Okay.
So find a friend.
Yeah. Find a friend. Well, my
introverted self hated it.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree. I grew up military family, so I had to make friends, for my own survival.
Yeah.
And moving someplace new or going to a new school all the time, it's kind of like, oh crud, here we go again.
I have to do it again.
Again, you know what I mean? So making friends, that's not a problem for me. I'm used to it. It's, but it's kind of like, but the ones that, or getting to know people or, just kind of gathering folks, I can do that. But when you're talking about like actually having friendships, people you can do life with, that is different. You know what I mean? And
because you're talking about the difference between, I'm put in this situation, I'm moving every 2 years. And it's like, I can make these friends. Yeah. But you're making these friends with all the masks on.
And you're making them knowing that
you're moving in 2 years.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and even as an adult, it's kind of like you go into these situations and you're still making friends with that mask on, knowing that, at home I've got these 3 people that know me without my mask.
Yeah. And it's like, what?
Yeah. And so it's the people that I have fully authentically become myself with are not the people that like stereotypically, quote unquote, or face value I would consider, they would be my friend.
Yeah, no, I've met a couple of people where I'm just like, wow, I shared a piece of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I surprised myself, because I'm used to, keeping people at a arm's length.
A solid 6 to 8 feet away,
Smile while I'm
comfort
like,
zone.
you'll
Yeah.
never know me,
Yeah.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But every now and again, there are people where it's like, I see you, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not supposed to.
Yes.
My invisibility cloak is glitching,
Yes.
but no, I am grateful for the very small number of people who I can share my life with. It matters, and unlikely friendships come from stepping out of your comfort zone and being open to new people. And I think once I was able to do that,
Mm-hmm.
it did open up a different world for me, and inviting like unlikely friendships into your life, it can change your perspectives, introduce you to new experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a new friend where when I first met her, and that was part of me coming out of my comfort zone, she said, well, we're gonna have to get you out of the house. And you know what?
Thank you.
No, but I'm going to tell you.
I will.
Now, going on 2 years later, she has kept that promise. And so I appreciate that, and she has shown me, even though I've, been here longer, in New Mexico longer than her, she knows more than I did. I'm like,
I got one of those friends.
Yeah, she was like, no, when I came here, she said, I got to figure out what to do. And so, like I said, I appreciated that because I didn't have anybody in my life who would just kind of like, what are you doing? No, we need to go here. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this,
Mm-hmm.
And I needed that because usually I was the person that used to, and then I got tired of people. So then I'm like, I don't want to do that, but, so, it really is they can be some of the most rewarding relationships,
mm-hmm.
That you get because they're so unexpected. And that was what, I did during the pandemic. I was just kind of like, I know a lot of people, but a lot of people are not my friends. And I was like, I wanted to make new friends. And so I looked up, there was this organization that had this meeting, this meetup. And I went to that,
mm-hmm.
and I went there and I made some friends, and I was just like, what in the world? So that was totally out of my comfort zone because I was sitting there going, I don't know anyone there at all. And I'm going to meet a whole bunch of these women. What does that mean?
You are literally describing my alumni group. When I moved back to Texas for a bit.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, you're coming to this. It's this luncheon. And then we've got this meeting and we're doing this volunteer and you're going to be there. And I'm like, that
sounds like a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do?
And I show up and I mean, I was one of the 2 youngest women at this, right? And every single one of them were like, no, we're doing this and you're going to these things and you're going to do this. And at the time I didn't realize that's what I needed.
Yeah.
But I did.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's exactly what we need.
And I feel like those friendships are the ones that really show you what you didn't know you needed.
Exactly. And it's just so important.
Yes.
It's just really, really important.
Well, because all those friendships are the ones that really teach us what acceptance and understanding of others means and what it looks like in practice, in the field, if you will. And when we are able to connect with someone who is different from us, it also broadens our horizons and allows us to grow as individuals, I guess.
Well, yeah. Well, it's so funny because we speak a good game, like I want to grow, I want to do this, but the actual process of doing it,
I don't like it.
No, I don't like
growing is hard.
No, it's like when a snake sheds its skin or a lobster sheds its shell. It's kind of like they're the most vulnerable.
Yes,
but what happens, what's new is solid.
Well, and I keep going back to thinking of like when I first met you in the environment we were in, right?
The prison-like environment.
Yes. And then you see us now, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, the conversation we had the other day, it was the entire goal is to have everyone in this wing succeed. And so everyone here is going to support each other. But thinking,
it's a whole different conversation.
Well, yeah, but thinking about like the first time we met, like would the thought of us being here now, the way we're interacting now, no, that wasn't the thought.
That was always my thought. I was trying to get out.
Oh, I know. But I mean, like, it's very different.
No, it is. It is. I do get what you're saying.
And like now it is this completely separate relationship because we're not in the same environment that we were.
No. And it's interesting. We have that shared experience.
Yeah.
But
that strong foundation.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's kind of like, now we have, you know, different experiences or, you know, on our own away from that. And, you know, we can grow and we, you know, you have your own practice. I have my own practice, but we can grow from there and cheer each other on.
Yeah. And show support to each other.
Absolutely. Whereas before it's kind of like, we're just trying to survive.
Yeah. And I've got bad news. This is what I have coming down the pipeline. It's like, cool.
You're just like, no,
I don't have the bandwidth to take on 80 things right now, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now we don't have to do that, you know? And, you know, which, you know, when we talk about like acceptance and understanding, you know, it's kind of like you look at that, it's like, wow, oh, you're in my corner. You're there for me too. And it's like somebody, because it's like when you watch like people when they're dating or something like that, and they say, you're not my type or you're not this. I mean, we don't think, but we do the same thing with our friendships.
Yes.
You know? And so when we're like, oh, no, I don't know if I'll be friends with you. You know, like that. But then you have a conversation with somebody and you're just like, I would have never saw that coming.
Yeah. Or even the flip side of that is oh, they'll never like me for who I am. Like they're too good for me. Or I'm going to come across this certain way and they're not going to like me for who I am because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Because, we don't share this in common, you know, they're not going to give me the time of day, so I'm not going to give them the time of day.
Well, yeah.
Building that wall, keep people out.
Yeah. And
I'm safe.
I'm just sitting here going, it's like the world is round. We have billions of people on this planet.
So conspiracy theorists.
Okay. The world is round. We have billions of people on this planet. And there's a friend for everyone.
Yes.
And you'd be surprised who could be like the best friend for you.
I also think that you'd be surprised who's going to be your activity friend or adventure friend.
That's what I'm saying. All of those friends or the lifetime friend.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still here?
Because you think that the activity friend's going to be your lifetime friend. No, it turns out they're just your activity friend.
They're in and out. You know?
And you think maybe this friend is going to be a lifelong friend. Nope, that friend is very much situational.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what, as we age, we kind of come to terms with.
Yeah.
Because yes, we have been burned by some situational friends in the past, maybe. And so I have a reflection.
Okay.
I have a reflection question.
Okay.
I want everyone to think about what, if any, unlikely friendships that you do have or have had. I want to know, how did they come into your life? And what did they bring to your life? And how did those friendships change you?
That's a good one. I like that. Because we don't realize when new people come into our life, it changes certain dynamics and stuff. So how did it change you? You know? So I love that reflection. But let's talk about friendship forgiveness.
Oh,
dun, dun, dun. because that's a lesson in relationships.
Yes.
You know, forgiveness is such a crucial part of maintaining healthy friendships. Well, any relationship. And you know, it's hard. It's hard, but it's friendship. Excuse me, not friendship. Forgiveness is an act of self-care.
Yes.
But people struggle with forgiveness because they don't really understand what that is and the process of.
Well, because I think a lot of people tie forgiveness into forgive and forget, which is not the case.
No, and you may not forget.
Right. And the whole goal with forgiveness is not necessarily forgetting, but it's also getting to the point of forgiveness. It's also the worry that maybe the other person isn't going to still take ownership of what they did to hurt you, right? And it's hard because there's so many feelings tied into forgiveness itself. So let's just be clear there. So it's essential because you're a human.
Yes,
I identify as a human.
Okay,
right? Really? And we are not perfect.
Yeah,
we make mistakes.
What do you mean?
I know.
That's hard truth.
Yeah, well, and you'll never be perfect. There's the hardest truth.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try, you will never be perfect.
Yes.
And some of us love to hold on to grudges. Grudges can damage every relationship. But forgiveness allows us to move past conflicts and misunderstandings. The trickiest thing, though, with forgiveness is unless that reparation conversation has occurred, forgiveness is out of the question. We have to take ownership. Why am I forgiving you?
Well, okay. So my take on that is
it's a little deeper than just the forgiving.
No, it really is. And the thing about it is forgiveness is for you. Don't carry
that.
No, but when we think about forgiveness, as a whole, not just in relationship to friendships, but it's kind of like, the purpose of that, whether that person takes ownership or not, forgiveness is for you. Now, if the person doesn't
my
take
values
ownership,
are showing you have to take ownership of your actions.
You do.
That's like my biggest.
No, you do have to do that.
Right.
But at the same time, here's the thing. You can't control another person.
Correct. And I can forgive them without maintaining that relationship moving forward if that value is so hurt.
Exactly.
So I think that's where the more deep rooted is like, if I guess it's the cutting people out.
Yeah. Oh, it's the cutting off and getting out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can forgive someone without ever having that conversation, but that doesn't mean that forgiveness is directly tied to maintaining that relationship.
It means that the dynamic, the relationship will change.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Good, bad, or ugly.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's also about recognizing that everyone has flaws and we all have moments that we're not proud of.
Yes.
But forgiveness helps us to let go of resentment and foster compassion and understanding in our relationships. Forgiveness, like I said, is an act of self-love, but it's also it's part of the ebb and flow of your relationship.
Right. Well, and the really long, maintained, deep relationships that you have with people.
Some stuff.
Right. And those conversations have occurred. And I think that the ownership forgiveness conversation is really important in the relationships that are going to continue forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So like you say, hey, Kelly, you really hurt me when you said this. And whether I take ownership or not is one thing. And that's a conversation that we have or we don't have.
Yeah.
And then you can decide. She's not even acknowledging that she said something that hurt my feelings.
Is this somebody I want to be friends with?
Right. You know what? I'm going to forgive her because that's where I am. That's where Kelly is in this moment.
Yeah.
That's where she wants to live. That's where she wants to stay. That's where she is going to stay. I'll forgive her because she essentially doesn't really know better.
Yeah.
And she's not going to be in my life as a friend anymore.
And then but like I said, when there is something that needs repairing within that friendship relationship, forgiveness or not,
Yes.
that friendship changes. It
Yes.
shifts.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad way, but it does shift. And we
Right.
need to recognize that it does not continue in the same way that it started.
Right. Or I go and I start talking stuff and you're like, Kelly, no, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm sorry that I said what I said.
Well, don't do that.
Well, okay. But moving forward, that relationship is going to shift. Are you going to tell me the same stuff? No. So I've turned from that innermost layer of the onion.
Yeah,
now
so you have to go beyond. You got to go back behind.
I'm that brown skin on the outside right now, about to be a green leaf that gets cut off. Like, the relationship does change, and if that reparation does happen, then I'm going to still have to work towards building that trust to get back into the inner circle.
Absolutely.
Will I? Maybe. It depends on how bad you were hurt.
Well, yeah, because like we said, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting and excusing harmful behavior.
Yep.
But it is about freeing ourselves from negative emotions that can hold us back.
Yes.
And it's a powerful way to heal and move forward. And that's something that
you deserve more than holding on to the resentment of the hurt.
But here's the thing that wastes time.
And energy.
And
mental space.
Yeah. And life is short, man.
Right.
Life is short. We don't have time for this.
And just because you forgive someone or accept the things that have happened in the past.
It's okay.
Right. It doesn't mean that you'll allow it in the future.
Yeah. What forgiveness is and what forgiveness is not. Learn it. Learn what that means. And you can find that in the show notes.
It's always there.
Yeah.
So I guess another reflection.
Oh, you're reflecting today.
Just reflective. So are there any friendships that you have that might need a little bit of forgiveness? A lot of forgiveness.
Yeah. Are you holding on to stuff?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Are you holding that grudge?
Yeah.
Are you holding that resentment in? Release it.
It's like, oh my
Release. Is there someone that you need to forgive, or maybe do you really just need to forgive yourself?
And that is therapy for another time. Right there. That one. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, that's a great reflection. And so for a final thing to talk about before we go, what about bringing joy to our friendship connections? What are some ways that we can infuse joy in our friendships?
I mean, there's lots of like really short, easy ones, right? It's the sending a funny meme.
Oh yeah.
Showing up, if this is where your relationship is, showing up to the house with coffee.
Yeah. No, don't show up to my house without calling.
Right. Like I said, depends on the relationship.
Yeah.
Call you 30. Well, I know. Hey, it's got to be in the afternoon, and I'll bring it to you here. Or is it just checking in with like a heartfelt message? I think in all reality, the biggest point, right? Don't show up to my house without calling. It's the understanding, and I know people think
knowing
love language.
The other person. Right?
Well, yeah, they think love language and they think like romantic relationships, but that's not true. It's the love languages are also very much tied into how we show up in our friendships.
Yeah.
I can immediately think
in
of
all
one
relationships.
Yeah. I can immediately think one friend, I just show up and I'm body doubling for her.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay.
Another one, I call I call and have a full-blown conversation once a month.
I love it. It's like life.
Right.
Them. Yeah.
There's one person I just send a text message every week about a reminder that you're appreciated and I see you. It's every single one. Okay, I send you flowers once a year. Not even on your birthday, just once a year. And it's those different relationships and those different friendships need a different kind of reassurance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think that celebrating each other's, successes, sharing, fun moments, creating new memories together, they always bring joy, and it's about being present and showing that you care in meaningful ways. I know that that's really important to me. It's like if somebody shows that they care, that they listened, that's huge for me.
I think postcards and snail mail.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's like my go-to.
Because people don't do that anymore.
And it takes a lot of thought.
And your handwriting. It's a piece, like I said, it's a piece of you. So for me, that's meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying if you send me an email or a text, I'm not going to be like, you don't care.
Ew. No, because I mean, the heart, you can understand the heartfeltness in the text message and the email too.
Yeah.
But it's just that, like, getting it, it feels so intentional. And you can still make the text message and the email feel intentional.
Yes.
It takes a little more words.
Yeah.
But it's that intentionality of, I thought of you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And you also have to make sure you laugh together.
Well, yeah, humor is important.
Humor is very important because, joy.
Yeah.
We like joy.
Joy is contagious. And
joy down in my heart. Where?
Joy is contagious, and when we bring positivity and happiness to our friendships, it not only strengthens the bond, but it also enhances our overall well-being. Like we said before, laughter is medicine.
Yes.
It's good medicine.
But being able to have that joy and that laughter also ensures that we feel safe to have the vulnerable in the hard stuff, right?
Yeah.
So going back to joy.
Yeah. Are you going to reflect again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Too much reflection is not a bad thing.
No,
okay, so
it's good.
What kinds of acts of kindness or fun can you incorporate to make your friends feel loved and appreciated? Also a question I have all my couples do with each other.
Yeah.
What can you do to remind those that you care about that they are loved and appreciated?
Absolutely. We're such therapists, I tell you.
Yeah, I know.
But
worth every penny.
Worth every penny. Yeah. No, well, I think those are good things to think about, to reflect on. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Back to Life podcast. And a big thanks again to Kelly for being here. And
thank you for having me.
Of course. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found some valuable insights about unlikely friendships, the power of forgiveness, and bringing joy to your connections. Remember, nurturing these aspects of friendship is key to living well, loving well, and being well. Until next time, take care and cherish your friendships. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories about friendship. You can also follow us on socials and our websites for tips and inspiration. Info is in the show notes. Be well.